Hi, Lucille. All yours. Isn't she pretty, everybody? Huh?
Once in your life, you find him. Someone who turns your heart around, and next thing you know, you're closing down the town.
There's a video of a woman named Lucille Cataldo singing her heart out on a 1980s public access TV show. But what disturbed artist H.P. Mendoza was how the trolls came out to destroy her on social media.
This TikTok that was just like tearing her apart, and it had like these metrics like attire 10, talent 3, and I remember just thinking to myself, how fair is this, you know? And I think a lot of what I was going through at the time was, it's so easy to tear someone down in 1 minute. We're all addicted to the scroll. I get it. I know that like when it comes to all these like social media feeds, it is more alluring to see something that might be a little more negative, but it rubbed me wrong that day, you know? I was like, hang on a second, wait, what are you talking about?
Yes, there was a time long before social media where people could perform with the passion they put into dancing in front of their bedroom mirror without fear of being torn down by the trolls.
I think that's what I didn't like about that video that was served to me, because it was like, look at this, isn't she bad? She's bad. Bad, right? Bad. And I was like, well, that's really leading, because like no matter how much you say this, no matter how much that graphic persists on screen, I just think to myself, she's not that bad. Better than you. So I had to look up this clip, and I found Stairway to Stardom. Like, what is this show?
On the stairway to stardom,
HP was led down the rabbit hole only to discover the pure bliss of an almost forgotten New York City public access TV show called Stairway to Stardom. A show that became a beloved obsession for TV editor Mitch Friedman.
It was like a talent showcase. So the host of the show is this guy named Frank Massey, who was about 1'6", with the personality that he was 90 feet tall.
Hi, welcome to Stairway to Stardom.
He's like a lounge singer kind of guy, and he started the show originally so he could give himself an opportunity to perform on TV, but then it was revised to allow other people to come on. But he still hogged half the show with his songs.
I don't know why I love you like I do. I don't know why, I just do. I don't know why you thrill me like you do. I don't know why you just do.
The format of each show is we start the show with either the theme song or some famous song from the 40s that he would botch. And then there would be performers come on, and that could be anywhere from little kid dancers to comedians to singers to even a magician every now and then.
Something's rotten in Transylvania. He doesn't give me fang the way he did before.
On one occasion, puppets. At least one occasion we know about.
Stairway to Stardom aired in New York City from 1979 through the early 90s and was touted by The Onion as one of the greatest shows ever to be on television.
Apparently it was pretty popular, whatever popular means, in the 80s for people that lived in Manhattan and had cable. I mean, you know, it was like a train wreck every week, and people would tune in because they just couldn't believe what they were seeing.
What do you get when you fall in love? A girl with a pin to burst your bubble. That's what you get for all your trouble. I never fall in love again.
Mitch's discovery of Stairway to Stardom in the early 90s was a pure fluke. Except it changed the course of his life.
A friend of mine named Erwin Shusted, who was a disc jockey on WFMU, used to do a part of his radio show called Incorrect Music. And he used to compile these cassette tapes. Half of them were like cover versions, famous songs done terribly, and the other stuff was just like original terrible songs that you've never heard of the artists. And on one of these original terrible songs tapes, there was just the audio from Evie Day's little commercial on Stairway to Stardom.
If you have talent, here's a golden opportunity for you. Have your paper and pencil handy. If you can sing, dance, do comedy, magic, drama, play an instrument, anything at all, you can appear on Stairway to Stardom.
It just said Stairway to Stardom commercial. It didn't say anything about what the show was. I had no idea who this woman was. I knew it was called Stairway to Stardom, and I knew it was something strange about it.
And then, 3 years later, Mitch was home watching Manhattan cable. And the clouds parted, the skies opened up, and there it was, in all its glory, right in Mitch's living room.
Stairway to Stardom just came on out of nowhere, and I was like, oh, okay, this is Stairway to Stardom.
Stay tuned, because Stairway to Stardom is next with Frank Massey.
The first show that Mitch saw was like a Stairway to Stardom all-star team.
All-star is maybe not the best word. Some of the most famous performers that were on Stairway to Stardom were all in this first episode that I saw. So it was like one of the best episodes or worst episodes that were ever done. It had Lucille Cataldo medley as a song called Hairdresser.
Hairdresser, hairdresser, whoa, hairdresser, hairdresser, hairdresser.
Yes, this was Mitch's first encounter with Lucille Cataldo. This time she was doing an impassioned original composition.
Don Costello was another guest on this same episode.
You smoke, drink, stay out late at night, go out with pretty girls and dance?
Of course not.
Gee, you don't have very much fun, do you?
And he lip-synced and did a very disturbing dance to Mana Mana from Sesame Street. Following that was a comedian, and I used the air quotes, Alvia, who for 10 minutes did nothing but infuriate everybody that was watching him.
No, it's good to say there's some more ugly folks here in the room besides myself. No kidding, there's some ugly folks here tonight. If you don't believe me, look next to you.
I mean, initially we thought, Alvia, this guy is not funny at all. He was just like a jerk.
I like Steve Martin, too. He's a wild and crazy guy.
And I didn't find out for like 10 years that he was literally, word for word, doing a Red Fox album. Not only was Alvia not funny, but he wasn't even using his own material, and he was still terrible. Enough right there. I mean, I didn't even need to say anything else, and I already was like, this is the greatest, worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
And of course, another star of the show was New York City, a major ingredient in the Stairway to Stardom Creole.
New York City is the place to do this. You just assume that you're supposed to be famous. Okay, I'm ambitious, and what better place to do this than on Manhattan cable?
Okay, we take you now to Las Vegas, where we have Jack Nicholson with Ronnie Reagan. Jack?
How the hell are you, Howie? It's so good to see you.
Every single person that was ever on the show was sincere, and they were sort of oblivious too, because they really thought they were doing well, but they were sincere about the talent they thought they had. You know, they all probably legitimately thought maybe casting agents would see them.
We have a lot of talent here. If you need anybody, don't hesitate. Give us a call.
Right.
They're ready to go to work.
These kids need a break, too.
They're ready to go to work.
Some of them are so talented.
Okay, bring our next guest up.
Okay, here he is. Rich Halke, everybody.
I started doing stand-up when I was 15. And back then I had guts. Oh my God, nothing would stop me.
In the 80s, Rich Halke was a kid living in New Jersey with big dreams of making it as a stand-up comedian. So he decided to cross the river and take that Stairway to Stardom.
Coming to New York, I find, is a pretty strange thing. I mean, I come to New York and it's fabulous, it's fantastic. People from all over the world come to New York. And I said, whoa. But one thing I didn't expect is when I come to New York is everywhere I go, somebody's smoking a joint.
That was Rich then.
Everywhere I go, somebody'd be smoking a joint.
This is Rich now.
I kind of say Stairway to Stardom. It's the show where everyone fell down the stairs. I also call it Stairway from Stardom.
As the cliche about New York City goes, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, particularly on Manhattan public cable. So Rich took that Stairway to Stardom.
Show Business was a newspaper, and it had all the castings and showcases and things that were happening. Stairway to Stardom had an ad in the back. Here, I'm a kid in northern New Jersey. I'm like, well, I'm going to try to get on a TV show.
So Rich went with his grandma to the Stairway to Stardom audition.
When I passed the audition, you had to pay $50. You all had to pay.
And his grandma ended up paying the $50.
I was 15. You're thinking, maybe something will come of this. As a comic, you just want to get up and perform any chance you get. And the fact that somebody wanted me on a TV show at 15, I was like, wow, it was an honor.
Except
when you see the talent that actually ended up on the show, who was he turning away? How bad did you have to be that you got turned away from Stairway to Stardom?
Rich, much like all the other comedians on Stairway to Stardom, found out what it was like doing stand-up comedy to an almost empty public access TV studio.
When you're standing there, you gotta act like nothing's happening, you know. And when somebody comes, it's like, what are you doing? And you're like, oh no, you gotta clean that up, I said.
There was really no audience. I mean, I don't think you're really hearing much laughter. You're standing behind the cameras watching the other acts. Frank and his wife. Behind me was the drummer, the camera people, the metal chairs. It was just fly by the seat of your pants.
So I start getting bad. I'm walking down the street, I'm getting bad. Come up to the corner, it says don't walk. I say, heck with it, everybody else is. So I walk across the street, I'm getting in the middle, and boom, I got hit with a cab. Drags me 3 blocks, gets out of the car, helps me up, and asks for his fare.
And Rich's overall sentiment about the show are similar to my astute observation.
Stairway to Stardom is basically like anyone who's ever stood in front of the mirror and given their Oscar acceptance speech. It's sort of like getting to watch American Idol when the one kid who was so bad.
The name Rich can't remember is William Hung.
It's like getting to watch entire episodes of Only People Like Him.
Look at me. I'm as helpless as a kitten up a tree. And I feel like I'm clinging to a cloud. I don't understand. I get misty just holding your hand.
And what makes it great is so of the time, the way the chyron or the extra technical effects and things on the screen that it's like, oh God, this is wonderfully awful. You think one person is terrible, then the next person's worse. And then the guy will come out and sing and you're like, is this really happening?
I run into a lot of trouble with the dogs, but my dog is lovable, and I love her, and I'll see you all in Central Park.
Rich Halke then.
And I'll see you all in Central Park.
Rich Halke now.
You know what's amazing about this fella, this young man here, he writes his own material, and that is unusual. Most people steal it.
After the taping of Stairway to Stardom, Rich and another performer, Raymond Lucky, walked away feeling so proud of themselves.
It was a celebratory moment for us. I can't imagine other performers not having that same high when they left. But at that time, you just did something. When everyone else sat at home, you went out and chased something and fell down the stairs, but you were at least on the stairs.
Rich Halke, everybody. Let's give him another hand. Thank you.
Thank you.
To fans of public access TV, Stairway to Stardom was unlike anything else on cable.
It was love at first sight the second I saw it, because first of all, I'm a huge fan of public access. I grew up watching it. I called into the shows, did the prank calls and all that.
Joe Pickett is one of the hosts and co-creators of the Found Footage Festival, a touring showcase of strange and forgotten VHS tapes. Needless to say, Stairway to Stardom and the Found Footage Festival were a match made in showbiz heaven.
The second I saw it, I thought to myself, it's the quintessential public access show. It has amateurs, but it's actually very well run, surprisingly. I mean, when you watch it, you're like, oh no, this is a train wreck. It's not. Like in the span of like public access, this is a difficult show to put on. This is a variety show.
Let me entertain you.
Joe runs down his favorite entities about Stairway to Stardom.
Remember it being very blue, the color blue. There's way too much lattice. The cross-stitching of wood, and that's such a public access staple. Oh, and then those cross dissolves where you got both their faces. You got like the wide shot of them. The band always kind of felt like furniture in the background.
Here they are, Tony Guccio Trio.
They had an ancient drummer kind of hunched over his drum set and just barely playing. And then they had this really old piano player just always off in the background, just like they're a couch or something like that. But then you had Frank. You know he wanted to be a Rat Pack guy because he just came out there and he was dressed sharply, tie on, you know, the butterfly collar, and he was just kind of a, hey, how's it going? We got a great show coming up for you. But then you had Tilly, who was like the Ed McMahon, really, who just kind of laughed at Frank's jokes.
I'm your host, Frank Massey, and this is my lovely co-host, Tilly. Hi,
Hi,
baby.
how are you?
You look so pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Did you enjoy your vacation?
I sure did.
I suppose you want another one, huh?
Not really. I kind of missed everybody.
Oh.
Not really.
You know, we have a fine show. My special guest is Mark Connor.
Yeah, I hear
Terrific
you heard him
singer.
sing, but I didn't.
Yeah, well, you're going to hear him today.
Yeah, but you know, why don't you do a number now first,
You
okay?
want me to sing?
Yeah,
oh,
why don't
that's
you?
a cue. How about that, huh?
It's like they had watched a lot of Johnny Carson's and they knew the types of things they were supposed to say. So they just kind of freestyled. They spoke over each other. The banter was incredible. Tilly thinks she had a catchphrase at the end where she said,
And don't forget, say a little prayer for somebody.
it was something like that she'd say at the end of every single show. But Frank could have been great because he had the confidence of a host. Some of my favorite moments are when he would accidentally kind of insult the person. That's the honesty of the show. I remember one time he said something like,
You like to sing?
Yeah, I do.
Uh-huh.
A little.
Yeah, but you're a little nervous. But I bet you sound better in the bathtub, huh?
Yeah.
he was trying to make a joke, but it was also kind of a backhanded compliment. My favorite of Stairway to Stardom has to be
Richie Triolo. Is that it? Okay,
great.
here you go, Richie.
He's seen enough stand-up comedians to know what they're like, but he just doesn't have the hours in. So he's going up there and giving it his all, and it sort of sounds like a comedian, but the jokes aren't quite hitting. The one that stands out is when he goes, we got any Italians in the audience? You got any Italians? All right. And, you know, there's not much of a studio audience there, and there's kind of a smattering of applause. And then he goes, okay, show me your raviolis. Show me your raviolis. All right.
My father was very strict with us. Like, if we did something wrong, like we drew hair on the St. Anthony statue and make him look like one of the Beatles, he would always smack us to a certain beat or rhythm that for every word he said, he had to smack like, I told you not to. Oh, my God.
I think King Kong had just come out, maybe. And he's like, you know, I was walking down the street and they were promoting King Kong. And I looked up on the building and I could see a big dump on the side of the building. It looked like King Kong had taken a dump and left. He's telling King Kong taking a dump jokes and having to explain the punchline.
What are they going to do for the 50th anniversary of Deep Throat? Have a giant mouth going up and down the building? Craziness. And what else happened in the city this year?
The Found Footage Festival began showing clips of Stairway to Stardom at their live shows.
Most of the clips that we got was from Mitch Friedman. He's the real, archivist of Stairway to Stardom, and he put together a box set for us. I think when people think of Stairway to Stardom, they think of Hairdresser.
Yes, once again, Lucille Cataldo.
That's the one that would kill every single time, and I think because she's really given it her all in that. And she's making love to the camera, too. She's looking right into the camera's eyes. She's looking right into your soul while she's singing this song, and just the passion and the earnestness of Hairdresser.
Please, 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 please. Hairdresser, hairdresser, whoa, hairdresser, hairdresser, hairdresser.
We would end every show with Stairway to Stardom because that was a show closer. And we opened with Stairway to Stardom because it's the best opener and the best closer. It absolutely killed.
And the crowds had their favorites.
Bobby J. Carter, he's like this little boy, like a toddler maybe like 4 or 5. Frank comes over for the banter and he asks him, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he says, I think I want to be a fireman. He's like, a fireman? If anybody out there's watching, we got a good candidate for a fireman here. And right then, Bobby J. Carter starts picking his nose. And then, but Frank is just like, don't pick your nose. You're on TV. Don't pick your nose. And then the kid kind of feels ashamed.
You don't see me picking my nose.
He'd lose his finger if he did, honey.
That's just an example of the banter that Frank would have. Just whatever's on his mind, he is going to say. There's no hold. It's very New York in that way. It's just like, I'm just going to tell you exactly how I feel right now.
And the enigma, which is New York, made performers think they were on that stairway to stardom.
Stairway is clearly, I think, above and beyond the best public access show to ever be in New York because just of the ambition. You get a lot of people who are trying to get into the big money world of show business, but they can't, but they still have this itch they need to scratch. It's easy to get on public access. You basically just need a pulse. Maybe their dreams of Hollywood didn't happen, but they still needed to perform, and this was a great venue to do it because this show still went out to like 8 million people. I mean, 8 million people probably didn't watch it, but 8 million people could watch it.
Hey, brothers and sisters, have you lost your head? If you keep smoking crack, you're going to end up dead. You're a crackhead. EJ, tell them one more time. Crackhead.
I guess it's that amateurness that appealed to me. I'd rather see real people do this stuff than professionals. I've seen professionals do it my whole life. But when you see an amateur, you can see the passion behind it. They genuinely love this and they want to make it big, but this is all they have. That's where you really see the heart and the passion is in public access.
This land is mine. God gave this land to me.
Meanwhile, Mitch Friedman's initial screening of Stairway to Stardom was a big turning point in his life.
That was it. I was just obsessed immediately. And after 30 minutes, once it ended, I felt like my life had changed forever. And what am I going to do now if I never see this again? How am I going to tell anybody about this if I have no proof that it actually happened? There were only like 2 or 3 episodes they were showing, and then they just stopped completely. And there's no way they was ever going to come back.
So Mitch and his friend Doug Miller went right to the source and contacted Frank Massey. And it was easier than they thought to get a hold of the host of Stairway to Stardom.
Frank Massey had his phone number on the end of some of the shows, so we just like, all right, we'll call the number. And it was his number. He answered.
And their plan to procure more episodes of Stairway to Stardom was simple.
We lied that we were making a documentary about public access. So it wasn't much of a lie, except for the fact that we weren't making a documentary. We just wanted to see more Stairway to Stardom. And if you had any other episodes other than the 2 or 3 that we saw, could we see them? And he's like, yeah, come over to my house. And then when we got there, he told us, I found these 20 hours of stuff, and we asked if we could borrow half of them first, just for screening purposes, of course. But we immediately went home and dubbed every second of every one of them.
When they screened these additional episodes, Mitch and Doug had one reaction.
Our jaws were hanging open. We probably felt a little guilty because we had lied to him and we were dubbing the tapes and we didn't ask.
So when they went back to get even more episodes from Frank,
we took the edge off by giving him $100 and a dozen cannolis. And he was very excited about the cannolis and thought we were very generous. Eventually, my friend and I got hold of whatever remaining Stairway to Stardom material still existed, which was about 20 hours worth, 40 half-hour shows. But when we asked Frank Massey, like, how many episodes did you ever do? And he goes, oh, we probably did 100 other episodes, but I recorded over them on these same tapes.
And of course, the pure disappointment of these lost treasures.
Who knows how many other puppet shows there were, but we'll never know. If we hadn't been disturbed and obsessed and deceptive, I don't think anybody would have any record of it.
And then came the advent of YouTube. Mitch and Doug uploaded all the surviving episodes and brought Stairway to Stardom to a whole new legion of fans.
In 2005 is when everybody could stumble upon it accidentally or on purpose.
The sudden surge in Stairway to Stardom popularity came to a shock to Rich Halke, who hadn't thought of the show in decades.
A friend of mine calls me and he says, I fell asleep in front of the TV watching Comedy Central and I heard your name. So I woke up and you were doing stand-up. and you're really young. And I was like, oh God, they found the footage.
With its YouTube popularity, Stairway to Stardom began to emerge on such mainstream networks as Comedy Central, where comedians would laugh with smug, ironic detachment.
Chris Hardwick had his show, and he would bring these comedians on, and it was sort of like a game show, and they would play acts from Stairway to Stardom and make fun of them.
And Rich's reaction?
Oh my God, they found me in front of the mirror giving the Oscar speech. Who knew that it would ever be shown again? Because I never saw it until it appeared on YouTube.
Because before Mitch uploaded the videos, they were pretty much forgotten to history. And that included the acts. Remember this from earlier?
Stay tuned, because Stairway to Stardom is next with Frank Massey.
That was Lola Perazzo in 1983.
I never said that, did I?
And this is Lola Perazzo now.
Stay tuned, because Stairway to Stardom is next with Frank Massey.
Lola's fame and Stairway to Stardom notoriety came years and years after her appearance on the show.
Somebody ran up to me and said they saw me on cable. I didn't even think of it anymore. And I was like, what? What do you mean I'm on cable? Like, my friend said, did she know she's on there?
And then people began to mention it more and more. Not just friends, but strangers.
You Lola? Are you Lola from Stairway? I love that. I was like, what is going on, you know?
Joe Pickett for the Found Footage Festival is clearly a fan of Lola's performance.
She was wearing tights. She was dancing to Thriller, but very earnestly. So I don't want to say that she was like a swan or like elegant up there, but she was doing some moves that she probably just learned. But she was very confident. You know, she gave it her all. That's the beauty of all these, is that they're all just kind of cutting their teeth and doing it in front of a camera for the first time.
First guest today is Lola Perazzo. Today she will be dancing to Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Okay, Lola Perazzo, everybody.
Lola's Stairway to Stardom Thriller dance video has gotten over 100,000 views on YouTube.
I call it my puberty video. It was such an awkward time, captured for eternity, and I think that's the appeal.
Lola's Stairway to Stardom audition was simple.
The host, for some reason, was at a dance show I did. He asked me if I wanted to be on a cable show. So I was just really a little kid that got asked to dance on television on a cable show. Of course, I said yes. I remember like being in the studio, and I remember there was a very small stage, almost like a plank. And I thought, how am I going to dance on that? It's so small. I remember finishing thinking I probably didn't do that great because it was a small area or whatever.
Lola purely embodies that unabashed quality some performers on Stairway to Stardom had of dancing in front of your bedroom mirror while no one is watching, except this time there's TV cameras rolling.
When it first came out, there was some kind of feeling like maybe you shouldn't be watching this, or maybe they shouldn't be performing this way in front of everybody, you know? Maybe she shouldn't be wearing that at 12 and 13 years old. Some kind of like people looking in on maybe something they shouldn't be seeing in a way. It was some kind of forbidden talent show vibe.
And Frank Massey himself sort of gave off a creepy uncle vibe, particularly the way he always requested a kiss from most of the female performers.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Tell me, how long have you been dancing, Lola?
Well, I started when I was 2. I'm 13 now. It's 11 years.
11 years. Boy, she's right out of the cradle, huh? Do you intend to pursue this career?
Yes.
It's a rough climb, you know. Stairway to Stardom can be rough sometimes. All I got to say is lots of good luck, okay?
Thank
May I have
you.
a kiss? Okay, bye now. Lola Perazzo, everybody.
The creepy Frank Massey kissing on Stairway to Stardom has also attracted a lot of internet attention.
Seen that, and I thought, oh my God, he kissed me right on the lips. Yeah, like on TV, you kiss a 13-year-old on the lips. Like, what's with creepy kiss? Yeah, the guy kissed you right on the lips.
Along with the creepy kiss, when her YouTube popularity began, Lola first found it really hard to watch the video of herself dancing on Stairway to Stardom. But now the tables have turned.
I have a little fan club. I get so much mail and telling me that they had people over their house dancing in their living rooms trying to recreate my dance. And somebody asked me make a personalized birthday card. People have pictures of me on their walls. I'm like, I don't know why. Why do you want this little girl on your wall? And it used to be mostly like the gay community years ago. Somebody had me on their refrigerator. Oh my God. Yeah, I learned to be okay with it. But people were excited to get in touch with me.
And full disclosure, even I was a little starstruck when I first talked to Lola.
But it makes people feel happy. It clicked with people, and I thought it would go away in the beginning. And it just had a strange pull.
Lola wasn't the only one whose Stairway appearance brought them new fans decades later.
I want to tell you something about these two gentlemen. A lot of people think that my theme song that's in the opening is, I don't sing it. Steve here sings on those Stairway to Stardom. Is that right, Steve? And this is the gentleman right here that wrote it, Ben. So, Steve, you got the soundtrack, haven't you?
Yes, I did.
Why don't you do our theme song, okay?
Right, Frank.
Okay, here they are, All the King's Men.
Thank you.
My name is Steve Luisi, and I was the singer of the Stairway to Stardom theme song.
And my name is Ben Stiefel, keyboard player from All the King's Men, and I wrote the disco Stairway to Stardom theme song that Steve Luisi sang, and that is now world famous.
On the Stairway to Stardom, you'll see tomorrow's stars today.
That was All the King's Men in 1983.
On the Stairway to Stardom, we're here to brighten up your day.
And that's All the King's Men now.
I used to work in the city. Somebody would come up to me and they'd be looking at me, and as a Brooklyn guy, I'd be like, hey, what are you looking at? Aren't you the guy that was on that show? And then I had to change up real quick. Oh yeah, Stairway to Stardom.
And All the King's Men credit Mitch Friedman for giving them this Stairway to Stardom notoriety.
With all his efforts and how he got all the stuff together and put it up, basically gave us another life. That stuff probably would have died of obscurity if not for what he did.
And that other life has brought them legions of fans. Once again, Joe Pickett.
Oh, the theme song. It's everything you want in a theme song. At any moment in time, you could just stop me and say, how does the theme song for Stairway to Stardom go? And I will immediately know it. It's just recognizable. It has the title in the hook. It's peppy. You know, you want up-tempo. You just want to watch this show when you hear the song and when you watch the opening credits. That's one thing that I'll never skip over.
At the time, All the King's Men was a hard-working band that played around the boroughs, and they thought Stairway to Stardom was going to be their first big break.
I don't think anyone in the band ever heard of Stairway to Stardom before we showed up in Manhattan at the studio. Everyone who has talent or thought they had talent could get on it and perform, and amazingly, you could be on television, which was what scared all of us. And then once the show started, I think we weren't so much scared as shocked.
When we went in, it was really crowded. There were a lot of people there to perform. Everybody was like really nervous. For most of the people, not only had they not performed on TV before, they might not have even performed on a stage.
From his first-hand experience, Ben describes his ascent on the Stairway to Stardom, which became the catalyst for writing the theme song.
The first show we were on started with Frank Massey singing the theme song that it turns out that he wrote. So it started with this 1930s, 40s kind of rumba song, this old style song, and this old style singer coming out and crooning this tune.
There's a long way to go on the stairway to stardom, and you'll fight for each step that you take, 'cause that's the price you pay.
We're sitting there watching this, and my first memory was just like, oh my God, what is this? I mean, I thought we're going to be on television, and then I'm watching the beginning of this show and I'm just stunned.
And along with Frank's theme song, Steve couldn't believe some of the acts performing alongside them.
There was one act that was so funny that I wrapped myself in the curtain so nobody could hear me laugh. The one that stood out with me the most was Gloria Huddle.
Okay, now, Libby, go on over to the recorder and put on the recording by the Manhattan Transfer Call operator. All right, and then you're going to see how I'm going to sing the demo, Livy.
And then she starts going off like real soulful at the end.
Give me long distance. Long distance.
I saw Jesus on the line with something else for me to see. I think that's when I used the cart, actually.
After their first appearance on the show, Ben came home and had a creative epiphany, and he thought,
I got to write a song for this show because that song was just awful that Frank sang. Plus, I wanted some excitement in the song. The way the show started when we got there, it was just, oh my God, I can't believe this.
And though the song is now iconic, Ben's initial thoughts,
I didn't think much of that song at all. And truly, I thought it was just what I call a throwaway. It was just something that I kind of rip off in a few minutes. Boom, send it out, done. We had no idea that Frank Massey was ever going to use the song in any way.
And Frank was first perplexed at the brand new theme song.
Frank said, well, what made you do this song? Ben turned around to him and said, well, I thought the theme song that you had was pretty bad. And Frank turned to him and said, I wrote that song.
And Steve and Ben had no idea that Frank was using this song as the new theme song to Stairway to Stardom until their second appearance on the show.
And then all of a sudden, the opening of the show was the theme song with us on it.
I'm going to have Steve, you want to mention about this song and who wrote it and everything?
Yes, it's a song that was written by our piano player, more or less for this show. Since we were on this show, we thought it would be something good for you.
I'm not prejudiced. I wrote a song too, Stairway to Stardom, and he wrote Stairway to Stardom, But I like it too.
It was great. This was our first opportunity and everything like that. To have a show take a song of ours and run with it, we were in heaven.
We've got singers and dancers and actors performing for you. But there's more, so much more, and it's all right here for you. On the Stairway to Stardom.
Stairway to Stardom has that outsider art quality, made in a bubble without the influence of TikTok comments dictating approval, and performance simply for the pure love of performing. And because of it,
some celebrities are fans. Like Bjork is a huge Stairway to Stardom fan.
It was Alec Baldwin's favorite show growing up, too. Like in the 80s, he would always watch it. He was a big fan of Stairway.
Comedian Paul Scheer shared his love of Stairway to Stardom when he was interviewed by Variety.
And they said, what's your guilty pleasure? And he was like, Stairway to Stardom. You could see he loves it, that it's such a train wreck. And he yet cares for the people at the same time. You feel for them and you're rooting for them, but they're not getting up those stairs.
We need more weird in TV. And Stairway to Stardom is weird. We've gotten too glossy. Our reality shows are too mean. It was kind of this amazing moment in time to capture people just being very earnest in what they're doing. It is a show that is so wonderful to watch because everyone is doing their best. You would never see any of this on TV, but I think that there's something about the purity of it. There's no one making fun of it. There's no one judging it. There's no one kicking anybody off. It's more just celebrating people just from the neighborhood coming down to this carpeted basement and just, just standing in a corner.
Stairway has definitely left its mark. Whenever Hollywood is trying to show a public access show, they're using Stairway to Stardom as the model. Anytime you have some sort of a host that's like, hey, good to see you, that's Frank Massey. And then the set with the lattice in the background and the fake plants, the stilted camera movements and the effects, even between two ferns, probably had some Stairway to Stardom influences.
And Stairway's influences went way beyond just mere parody.
Oddly enough, it was the precursor to Star Search. Metro Media, which was a network that originally put on Star Search, they heard about Stairway to Stardom and they asked for a copy of the tape from Frank Massey. And then like a year later, Star Search was created. So they got the idea of the format of the show from Stairway to Stardom.
Frank is Star Search. They should be sending him royalties.
A lot of people talk about Star Search and they talk about American Idol. And I think they're all correct that Stairway to Stardom is a precursor to those shows.
But the main difference between Stairway to Stardom and Star Search and shows to follow, there were no snarky judges mocking the performers.
Frank Massey not wanting competition between the acts. Which act is better than the next one? Which one is going to win? Which one's going to lose? So he just put everything up there to enjoy.
And the irony is, Stairway to Stardom was so close to complete extinction that we wouldn't be talking about it to this day.
Frank Massey, he knew that a lot of people liked the show, but he had no idea why they really liked the show. Now, we weren't going to tell him. We'd want to insult him by saying, oh, they're laughing at you. He just thought people legitimately liked the performers. And we even gave him the DVD box set that we made. And those were just our compilations, and there wasn't anything good on any of those. I mean, those were like the most bizarre, bad performers.
And Rich Halke is thankful that his performance as a 15-year-old stand-up comedian was just bad enough.
Mitch didn't include somebody in the tapes who was too good. I might not have been included, so I'd miss out on all this and talk about this terrible show to people. And it's like, oh, you were on that. Didn't matter if it wasn't good. I look at that now and say, wow, here's a kid who's working on his writing. He's working on stage presence. He's working a microphone. He's not there yet, but he's working on those points. I look at that kid of what his future is, of where he was going, and the dedication was there, the passion was there.
And Rich is one of the rare 3 performers who actually took that Stairway to Stardom and went on to become a successful TV sitcom writer.
I was able to parlay, get in as a production assistant, and then move up to a writer's assistant on the show Perfect Strangers, and then got in the Warner Brothers Writers Workshop. So I can see like the stairs that I did climb. It's pretty great that I actually have something that I can point to from the very beginning that shows elements of what talents that were used later. They weren't fully hashed out yet.
The funniest thing in New York, I feel, it has to be the pooper scooper laws. That don't work with me. I got a 250-pound St. Bernard. I got to use a coal shovel.
For me, any criticism, I'll say, keep it coming. Did saying that make you happy? Then fantastic. Then I made your life better by being terrible. Thank God I'm considered one of the 3 that actually did something.
Once again, Joe Pickett.
Wow, all right, so it actually worked. I mean, yeah, 3 out of probably 3,000.
And much like myself, Joe is always starstruck when he meets performers who have appeared on Stairway to Stardom.
Tilly. I got to meet Tilly not too long ago, so that was a huge feather in my cap. And she was in my neighborhood, so I called her up, and she's like, yeah, stop on by. And I remember talking to the grandson about, like, you know, your mom's kind of, like, New York famous. And he's like, oh, yeah, I've seen some of the clips, I think. Like, he had no idea.
And all the King's Men have also experienced that fan adulation.
Till this day, I get people, wherever I go, friends of mine who've seen it. Everywhere I go, oh, Stairway to Stardom, oh. 46 years later, you know, for that to be our claim to fame, you know, it's such a nice feeling, you know. So I run with it, I laugh at it, I smile and think back of all the good times we had. It's amazing, really was amazing, a good memory. It was what it was, but I hope people have a good time with it because I know we did.
Lola Perazzo now looks back at her Thriller dance on Stairway to Stardom as if it were entirely a different person.
Being like, it was awkward years, I was self-conscious about it. And I said, you know what? She's cute, you know? It's just awkward to be in a state of watching yourself when you're 12 and 13 years old. I'm sure the other performers feel the same way where they were at the time or who they were at the time. But that's the cringy part. It's there forever. If people enjoy it, and I've learned to feel good about it. And I hope the other performers do too, and just embrace whatever it is. Because it's not going anywhere, is it?
Stay tuned, because Stairway to Stardom is next with Frank Massey.
And Lola's take on the trolls.
Maybe they wish they did that with their talent. Maybe they're just jealous they weren't picked, but there's something really interesting That just goes deeper than a talent show.
When we first discovered the show, we had an attitude like, oh, everybody in the show is hilariously terrible. We didn't give them any credit. The courage that it took to put themselves out there like that, in some cases, regrettably. As time went on, I come to respect the people that were on the show because half of them were just mediocre or just boring. They weren't terrible, they weren't good. About a half were terrible, and there was about like 1% that were actually quite talented. But everybody's intentions were pure. They just wanted to perform. And it took a lot of guts to even be on TV for the first time. Like, they had no experience. I still think some of them are terrible, but not as many as I initially thought were terrible. I mean, like, there are some that are legitimately terrible. Let's not kid ourselves.
And the irony is, the Stairway to Stardom acts didn't get publicly mocked until the show was uploaded to YouTube.
If you get caught between the moon and New York City.
Which brings us back to H.P. Mendoza.
So there's something interesting about seeing these videos unearthed and emerging in today's media. You take these videos and you place it alongside a bunch of other videos where you have a bunch of these creators now who, for lack of a better word, they have the media literacy. And as I scroll, I just see all these creators, people kind of singing to the camera, like existing songs, just like Lucille Cataldo was. But they also have the liberty to edit before they upload. They don't have a crew in front of them. Lucille Cataldo was 10 times braver than any of these newbies are. You couldn't have a Stairway to Stardom today. Like, what would that even be? To me, this is art, right? And like, I like to think of myself as the plaque that sits next to the art to give people context.
HP was so inspired by Lucille Cataldo's performance on Stairway to Stardom that he created a remix of her song to thumb his nose at the haters and prove to the world that Lucille Cataldo could really belt out a tune.
So the responses to my video were pretty kind. They were really kind to Lucille Cataldo, saying, a lot of people saying like, oh, I'd never even heard of her. I'm glad you put this out here because I never would have heard of her otherwise. I went straight to the Lucille Cataldo pages, and that's when I saw everything else she was doing. She did like watching Lucille Cataldo do Ma Vie en Rose, watching Lucille Cataldo sing the song that she wrote, Hairdresser. You know, like this was like a whole like like screw the Marvel universe. I was deep diving into this.
Hairdresser, hairdresser, whoa, hairdresser, hairdresser, hairdresser.
And for the man who saved Stairway to Stardom, an encounter with Lucille Cataldo left him gobsmacked.
I met Lucille Cataldo completely randomly on the street one day in Brooklyn, which was crazy because you just don't expect that to happen. And there was an empty parking spot right in front of me. This car pulls in and I was like, wait a second, I know that's Lucille Cataldo. So he got out of the car and walked away across the street the other way. I was like, okay, I'll never forgive myself if I don't say something. So I said, excuse me, I don't mean to, alarm you or whatever, but are you Lucille Cataldo? And of course I knew the answer. And she's like, yeah, how did you know that? And I said, well, my friend and I are big fans of Stairway to Stardom and we remembered you were on these. Oh my God, that was 20 years ago. And she was on the show for the last time, probably 1984. So before she got freaked out a little bit because it was like, why would this random person recognize me for any reason? Certainly for Stairway to Stardom isn't even current. But what it turns out is that when Jon Stewart first took over The Daily Show, they had a segment called Public Excess. Apparently like a week or two before I bumped into Lucille Cataldo, they were making fun of Hairdresser. So she was still freshly angry about that. So that was the timing of that one. I reminded her of Stairway to Stardom and she was like, oh, good, I'm still angry from a week ago.
Sadly, Lucille Cataldo passed away a few weeks before HP released his tribute video. But his efforts didn't go unnoticed by Lucille Cataldo's sister, Jackie.
And I get this email, like a proper email, not a DM, but like an email from Jackie Cataldo thanking me for making that video. And she never referenced the mean comments. She never referenced whatever perceived legacy was there that I was responding to. She just thanked me for acknowledging the passion and commitment that Lucille had when she was making these videos and songs.
And much like Lucille Cataldo, Frank, Tilly, the band, all the performers on Stairway to Stardom are immortalized for history, performing their hearts out in a studio that looks like a Staten Island basement.
Well, I guess that's about it for now, huh? Yeah. So, God bless you, and love everybody.
And don't forget, say a little prayer for somebody.
And won't all my performers come out here, please? Okay.
So they can be seen again.
Okay, Marvin.
There's a long way to go on the stairway to stardom, and you'll fight for each step that you take, 'cause that's the price you pay, and never look back down the stairway to stardom.
Thank you for tuning in to the Stairway to Stardom audio documentary presented by Comedy History 101, where we school you in comedy, and was written, produced, and edited by me, Harmon Leon. A big thanks to our associate producer, Jean-Francois Bresson, who sent me down the Stairway to Stardom rabbit hole and encouraged me to produce the episode. Also, a big thanks to Mitch Friedman for not only saving Stairway to Stardom, but also helping me set up some of the Stairway to Stardom interviews. Be sure to check out the Stairway to Stardom YouTube page. Also, a big thanks to our interview subjects, Joe Pickett from the Found Footage Festival, Rich Halke, Lola Perazzo, HP Mendoza, and all the King's Men, Ben Stiefel and Steve Luigi. And you can check out all our past episodes of Comedy History 101 on iTunes or Spotify, or on our site, comedyhistory101.com, or follow us on Instagram at comedyhist101. I am Harmon Leon, and you can follow me at Harmon Leon, or check out my site, harmonleon.com. And until next time, bye-bye.